Mitoe currently ranked Major General. Knuschelbär is a Brigadier, so Mitoe is the favourite for this lead matchup. I'm a bit surprised Mitoe's not currently at the rank Lieutenant General, considering that Kaiser pushed his rank up to General at one point. Let's have a quick look at the map. We do see Musketeer 3, plus the 2 Guardia Goats in base, same down here. Hunts and Coin on the right side, 2 mines. Yeah, I'm happy with this. So, no back. Dodgy tree spawn here for Knuschelbär. That could be quite important, actually, in terms of having access to gather resources if French plays. But in terms of actual resources, I think it's fine. There's just nothing to the left-hand side of the town centre, and if Mitoe's been aggressive and easily can would starve Knuschel, but I think Knuschel is going to carry on unless Knuschel wants to rehost. We'll play it like this. So welcome back, guys, to semi-final number 2 of iNcog's Empire Cup number 2 as well. The semi-final is between Mitoe and Knuschelbär. Mitoe will be playing as the French civilization in this game number 1. That's his premier civilization he's picked. Knuschelbär playing as the Japanese civilization. Would great start for both players. We've already seen the consulate come down for Knuschelbär. Mitoe going for the mid-map trading post, where he's been confronted by the Japanese explorers with pot shots exchanged and Freitag the pet macaques being traded off, which is very unfortunate to see. Rest in peace to Freitag the macaque. The map is Kamchatka Winter. Both players spawning with 2 coin mines and enough hunts around their base. And both players were in the middle of the map already. And looking at the treasures picked up so far, just 75 food to be of note. That was picked up by Knuschelbär. Mitoe, though, was going for the trading post, so that is why he hasn't picked up a treasure just yet. Has scouted an 80 wood, shoots the Tiger first, then crack shots in the second one. Is committed to this, but I think Knuschelbär, he's seen this and he's going to go for the treasure contention. And actually, treasure contention, he's going to take down the French explorer. I think that's what he's going to try and do. Divine Strike comes in from both. Double Divine Strike on the Tiger and on the explorer. That explorer, I don't think he would have got to the treasure. I think Knuschelbär was already guessing the treasure at that point, but double Divine Strike, the chance of that happen at the same time, quite low. That was quite cool to see, actually. And Knuschelbär happy with that wood treasure. Gonna throw down a shrine straight away. Is there another shrine so far? Yeah, 1 shrine in the middle of the map. And looks like we'll be playing on from this point moving forwards. We have the Chishogo Shrine coming down from Knuschelbär. Heavenly Kami first card, Portuguese Consulate from that woods he had to start off the game. Mitoe, on the other hand, 12-10 age up here. We've seen a few 12-10s so far, but looks like Mitoe is committing to the 12-10 and he must have ate a few sheeps. Unfortunately, eating the sheep does not count as a unit lost, but I will guess that Mitoe captured about 4 goats on the map and ate them to help his age up. So the 12-10 is coming from Mitoe. 12-10s are very good if you catch your opponent off guard, but I just don't think they're stronger than a standard 14-vil or a 13-vil. Probably a slight bit of idle time from Mitoe to get up to the 2nd age, but Mitoe aging up to the 4th age at 4 minutes. Possibly, I think it's about 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds faster than you'd normally do so, but you do give up some of your economy for that to happen. Knuschel has seen that Mitoe's into the next age about 4 minutes, so he must know something's dodgy, and here goes the wall straight away. Wall foundation's been thrown down on the front, tied up to this cliff, and making good use of this wander. Consulate is a very tanky wall section as well. We need to try and wrap the wall around the left-hand side as well. The wall is down, but not being built just yet. I think Knuschel wants to prioritise This one's coming up first, and then using these villagers to build the wall afterwards. For CDB, first card from Mitoe, so the 12-10 maybe a bit of a fake out for the time being. Barracks in base, queuing up one musketeer. I feel that the situation of Mitoe could have gone something like maybe two houses and a trading post with his 400 wood age up, and sends 700 wood to then go for any production facilities afterwards, and could use that 700 wood to help himself steel traps and placer mines on top. But 4 CDB coming in out first, batch of 5 musketeers being trained. I think the intention is for Mitoe to do some raiding. CDB though, marching forward. Really forward. What is this Courier de Bois wanting to achieve? He's moving back to the middle of the map onto the coin mine. That might have been a miss rally, but he may actually want to drop some sort of mid-map outpost barracks. Otherwise, I'm a bit confused by his play. 5 musketeers sieging the shrine down on the middle island. Knuschelbär shrining up. That's 2 hunts to the kind of northwest, on top, northeast. Pardon me, on top of these 2 silver mines. So capturing these resources for himself. This hunt in particular is a very nice shrine hunt to shrine up. It forces the French Civ to push out down to the southern side of the map for extra resources if this top side is basically sealed off to them by shrines. 2 CDBs now in the middle of the map. What's going on here? Yumi Archer's coming across to deal with these musketeers. He sees all his musketeers, but now sees these CDB, and CDBs could get picked off here, especially if the Explorer goes into melee mode. One CDB already going down, and the Yumi Archers will be happy to take that trade, losing 1 shrine, but picking up 1 French Courier de Bois. Knuschelbär going 600 wood, 5 Yumi Archers as card number 2 in reaction to the fast age-up time of Mitoe, but Mitoe is just going for 4 CDB 700 woods, double barracks at home. Now making a double batch of crossbows, 10 crossbows on the field from the 700 woods, 600 woods, and training more musketeers behind this. I'm not too sure actually how this is going to work out for Mitoe. I'm already feeling this is but this is, let's say, an interesting strategy. I feel that Japan has the tools at their disposal to comfortably deal with this. Yumi Archers, Yumi Archer attack, 20% Daimyo support as well available. Clubmen from the consulates, the Japan consulates buffing their units as well, so the clubmen to deal with any Hussar switch. Ashies as well, just great versus colonial France, but France usually want to go for a mid-map presence. 2 barracks there, bow pike rush, getting Japan base very, very quickly. But Mitoe is going to go for more of a timing push. He's starting to eat some goats now as well, and continue to hunt in his base. A few coin miners to help musketeer production, but could sell some extra food off to mass up the units. Military population in favour of Mitoe, but Japan is just happy to do what they like doing, sit back. Shrines are out on the map, but the unit strength, Yumi Archers, outclass crossbowmen. $600 coin from Knuschel coming in, and that means I want to say that a stable is thrown down. It's already up. The stable is already up, and 600 coin is going to go into Naginata production. And Nagis, well, they're gonna rip through this. Musketeers will be forced to move to the fronts to protect from the Nagis, to protect the crossbow from the Nagis. But the Yumi Archers will pick this off straight away. And is Mitoe going to age up? Let's look at Mitoe's deck and see what we can see. Ranged infantry attack. Crossbow HP, no Hussar HP, Skirmisher HP. It's not something crazy like crossbows into Skirmisher card, which I think is called like Trial. It's a very unique card, but not being used here. Am I missing something obvious? Because I just feel that this is playing in Japan's hands instead of playing into Mitoe's hands. Oh, CDB pool as well. Is that Pioneers? Pioneers. Pioneers timing with a CDB pull, but where's the greatcoats? Where's the blunderbuss? There's no point pushing out CDBs if you don't have greatcoats. And this is what it is. The wall is down, but it's only a single wall of Knuschelbär, 1500 HP. Knuschel's aging, he didn't go into Nagi production. Right, it's unfolding right in front of our eyes. This is the plan from Mitoe all along, pushing in with Pioneers, CDBs as well. I was hoping that Knuschel could have picked off some of his musketeers earlier on, but this appears to be pretty brutal here from Mitoe. Luckily, Bestiero's Yumi Archers out behind, forming a nice wall. Town Center fire available. CM could be used as well to one-shot the crossbowman. Also, probably two-shot CDB, no, three-shot. But the Town Center, it should have a multiplier versus villagers. It does, so that's another possible card to send at this point is Clone Militia. But you see how the Yumi Archers are just kiting at this moment, and that kiting action is just picking off units at the moment. Villagers are going down on the Wonder though. Villagers on the coin mine going down, and all the ecos build up. 22 villas in the town centre. Military population still in favour of Mitoe, but remember, Mitoe's all in. No eco behind this. Noosh does have his shrines working for him. Golden Pavilion will soon be up. Extra Yumi Archers and ranged infantry attack, which actually he could try and keep his units alive for that. A shipment of 5 Nagis will also be very strong in that third age. The action's all here. This is going to be a close ending to this. Poofed Explorers back. Poofed them at a great time for the age up and also away from this main crossbow army. Crossbows now moving back into the base. A couple of Yumi Archers being picked off from the musketeers right side. Yumi Archers will get sent to the town centre, will be very quickly dispatched by the remainder of the army, and it looks like Mitoe has actually he's pulled the blinds even on me. I have full map vision, but I didn't scout this one coming. Minutemen coming, Yumi Archers popping out from the town centre, one Nagi being trained from the stable, but at least it draws some fire and quite tanky. This is the fight at the moment. Needs to focus down the archers, the musketeers. Send 5 Nagi as a priority. 5 Nagi coming, villagers out from Knuschel tanking as well. Mitoe's score is dropping at this point. Knuschel has 2 shipments to send. CDB still fighting though. Pioneers, blunderbuss and greatcoats. 11 range attack, 16 range, very long range. But the military force is starting to dwindle from Mitoe. Let's look at how many villagers have gone down for Japan. 6 villagers. Now 6 CDB have gone down, but look at that musketeer and crossbow go down. Now, I knew it was safe for Japan. I knew Japan had it, and here come the Naginatas, and this should be a cleanup that he wanted. Yumi Archers taking down the musketeers. Naginatas absolutely demolishing the crossbows, and the resonation comes in. Big O face from me. I was not expecting that one bit. And yeah, Mitoe did say that he forgot to send 3 Hus, and I think that would have been the key for this fight. Those 3 Hus, that would have been really pivotal. You could see how the Yumi Archers were kiting away from the crossbowmen. If 3 Hus were there to snare that crossbow mass, or the Yumi Archer mass, the crossbows could go on top and trade off really, really well. I've just seen in chat somebody in my Discord saying that they could provide so much insights to this game, and I was thinking, is this player psychic? Is he magician? But I wasn't prepared for this build, and it seemed very interesting early on, and it just unfolded. It just all was unveiled in front of my eyes, and that push was scary. Well held though from Knuschel, great kiting. That Nagi shipment was so pivotal in the third age, and I knew that Naginatas were required. Even the age up though, getting extra attack from the Yumi Archers. Knuschel would have been safe if he stayed in the second age, but once you commit to building the Wonder, I guess you got to play it out from there. One thing I would say though is I'm not too sure how Mitoe's strategy ties up with the 12-10 advance. I suppose it does get your 4 CDBs at 440, and you have a very good shipment progression afterwards with all the XP you get from building your units as well. You can see comfortably 1 shipment ahead by the time Knuschel sends 5 Nagis. Interesting strategy, and one which has been clearly designed to counter the civ he's playing. However, this time it looks like Knuschel has just hung on for dear life. And, well, 160 shrine population behind as well. Some would say Knuschel was always had it in the bag, was never scared. Right, and the player who was the magician who provided all this extra insight in the Discord is Gerald, and Gerald has joined me now. And Gerald, you knew that was coming, right? Didn't you?
I didn't know that quite was coming. No, I didn't. I did see Mitoe doing 12-10 yesterday with Barrack start, and it was pretty different than that. It was somewhat of a semi-FF, having about 10 musk or so, harassing the opponent. So I think perhaps Mitoe here actually was looking to respond to the expectation from Knuschelbär to this strategy.
As in, do you think Knuschel was expecting some sort of semi-FF from Mitoe, and then, and I mean, that is probably quite plausible because you did see Knuschelbär aging up with the 600 coin at the time when Mitoe was slamming his 63 military population as well as CDBs into the fight. If you looked at the idle villagers from Mitoe, you can see that 20 CDBs were marching across the map to go for this fight. Idle villagers are represented by villagers walking around, not if they're not just when it says they're an idle villager on that unit counter there, but Knuschel's idle villagers as well. 23, a lot of idols as well. Yeah, that was a fun game to kick us off.
Yeah, for sure. That was really exciting. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Mitoe did exactly the same start, exactly same even card order, I believe, at least the first 3 cards for his game he did yesterday, and completely changed it up with what Knuschelbär was doing. And I think that it was probably a good idea to do against Japan too, because Japan, I believe yesterday was either, I think it was a French mirror on this map, and playing versus France is very different than playing versus Japan, of course. Yeah, a really, really good game from Knuschelbär. He did a good into it, and Mitoe, I like how he was probably, I assume he was trying to outthink his opponent, but he apparently kind of outthought himself there.
I was wondering why they haven't hosted up, but you're taking my slots as slot number 3 in Florida. I was wondering where that game was when I saw you, and I don't think I don't think I have a choice now but to not invite you into the game.
Alrighty, yeah, I'm excited for this. So it's a best of 5 in game number 2 coming up. Yeah. Florida is the map, and Mitoe, Knuschelbär picks first. Knuschelbär picks first. He already picked Iroquois. He picked before you jumped in here. Iroquois, sorry. And Mitoe, we'll see what he picks in response to it.
I think Mitoe could actually stay as France here on Florida. It's a civ he's very clearly comfortable playing. France, it's a very strong civ to have on this map. Native Scout for the sheep, the early market as well, the long TP route. Many things which favour Mitoe's gameplay. We did see Migo win with German in the last series versus Iro on Florida, but Mitoe's deciding to mirror Knuschelbär and gonna go for the Iro mirror.
Yeah, Mitoe's been enjoying his Iroquois strategies quite a bit. He's done. I've seen him win with it a couple times. I think in the last game, last series, was it? I know. Was Mitoe playing last series?
No, it was obviously it was Migo versus Prince of
yeah. Migo was playing, and I believe one of the players did a Iroquois strategy, I believe, and an FF kind of plan. You know what? Don't count. I'm not going to assume that actually happened. Getting into this game, It is game number 2, Mitoe versus Knuschelbär, and go ahead and talk about the players and what's going on. Matchup and everything.
I do just want to have a quick look at the hunts, and I'm thinking, it's about it's 2 to 3 hunts. It's possible, but these hunts are super safe from Mitoe. You can't not argue with that, but they're super safe hunts. Is it 1 extra? I guess it is. You got 3 in the middle, but I'll just say it's 1 extra hunt for Mitoe and see how they play on from there.
Yeah, we can say that. It's I think it's this one that's extra, which is about half a hunt. So I think it's pretty fair if they. But yeah, it is definitely different between the both sides.
Yeah, it's just I think it's position, which is really nice. But for some reason, this beach really jags out into the sea. It's a very non-stand spawn, but we are arguing over the minor details. Mitoe, I think Mitoe was going to convert this 100 coin pirate treasure, shall I say, and then fight the outlaw blowgunner, but he's now moved over to the other side of the map where the outlaw blowgunner has scouted 75 wood. Mitoe prioritizing the wood treasure here, will be going for the alligators, and that was scouted out by outlaw blowgunner, so already getting an OP treasure guardian, probably from the in-base. Does scout a stray dog as well at the back of his base with his goats, so options here for Mitoe early on. And let's have a quick look to see what Knuschel is doing. Knuschel is working on a native scout himself, but look at this pirate just tank all the damage from the alligators. Very nice unit control here.
Yeah, pirate is an exceptional treasure guardian to convert, and I'm curious if either player is going to go for a farm with their Travois. Travois. It's a possibility with all the sheep on this map. I don't see either player going for chopping wood. I was kind of thinking maybe one of them would, with both of them getting wood starts. Pun intended there. But I don't know. I think they're both going to go for longhouses, and that's what we see them both doing. So yeah, it's kind of mirrored strategy at the start. 80 wood in the bank for Knuschelbär and 75 for Mitoe. I'm curious, looking at their decks, if we're going to see they continue to be pretty mirrored. We do see that Knuschelbär does have a couple water cards in his decks, but other than that, somewhat comparable decks. What do you think? Anything interesting about those decks there?
Well, so the addition of the couple water cards there from Noosh is very nice to have. But when you're playing in a mirror, Mitoe's missed this treasure. Come on, Mitoe. He was struggling with that 75 wood treasure earlier on, but he managed to get it. 135 coin, almost left it for Knuschelbär, but does pick it up. Back to that water discussion. If it was playing versus a civ like Portugal or Britain, who could go water, then I agree with the water dance. Versus another Aero player might not be a crucial card, but it gives him options. Mitoe is one of those players who does often use his Age 1 Travar as a dock build-in, or go for a dock in transition and go for a 1-dock fish eco player style. Not full fish boom, but having a little bit on the side, and extra presence of the 4 war canoes and the water dance could help him control water if Mitoe wanted to push out. But Mitoe's deck, no water cards whatsoever. A very standard land deck here for Mitoe.
One thing really interesting to note in the decks too is Knuschelbär has 600 coin, Mitoe doesn't. So I would be expecting Mitoe to go all in H2 here, while Knuschelbär perhaps is going to be wanting to go to H3 at some point. So I think that's pretty interesting to note, the pretty distinct difference. We do see Villager being harassed out here, and the Travois being harassed too. It's the Travois being harassed isn't too big of a deal, but it's going to not go as far forward as Mitoe is probably intentionally or probably wanting.
But that war hut being sieged down by the native scout, the Aero Tomahawk, and slightly by the pirate having a 2.4 base damage versus the war hut due to its 0.1 multiplier versus buildings. sorry to burst your bubble, but Mitoe with his Wise Woman Age Up and cards like 5-vil and all crate resources, it's just another way of going to the third age. Just sending the 800 crate resources instead of the 600 coin. It gives you a little bit of versatility on transition as well. I'm expecting some sort of conservative playstyle for both players, and 5-ils from Mitoe straight away. Even sends into the forward war hut to kind of conserve his in-base resources longer. This is a very nice high-level play from Mitoe. But I've just seen that he's even got the wood upgrade as well. Corral coming down, and getting the wood upgrade is not standard for Age 3 play. And now that the Corral is dropping down, I think Mitoe wants to play... I think you're probably actually more correct than I am. I think Mitoe's staying Colonial versus Knuschelbär and hoping to try and... I think he's expecting the Knuschelbär's to be playing standard here, and Mitoe's going to try and capitalize on that.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. 600 coin as Iroquois is really, really nice for an FF because you don't need coin for anything in H2 basically as Iroquois. You can get upgrades with it, but that's about it. And so the 600 coin is really nice. You can send it if you're wanting to go to H3, but if you're not, you can start sending it. You can cancel it whenever, and it's no harm done. It's not like you're gathering some 100 coin and then you suddenly need to respawn to a bunch of units in your base. So 600 coin can be really nice. Of course, you don't have to use it if you're going H3, but yeah, I'm expecting some heavy H2 gameplay from Mitoe out here. Looking at Knuschelbär, let's see what he's trying to do. He sent us the 800 crates of resources as opposed to Mitoe sending 600 wood first. So Mitoe definitely has the tempo advantage here. It has a little bit more map control with the war hut and the corral being forward. We do see some walls going up from Knuschelbär, so it's going to look like more defensive play from Knuschelbär. Do you think that you think that's a really viable strategy in Iroquois mirror, or do you think Mitoe's kind of just having the advantage here with having map control and whatnot?
Florida, you have enough resources anyway to really play with. Mitoe, I mean, I have to bow down to Mitoe's superior gameplay and knowledge versus mine, but he has researched that second tier wood upgrade and then sent himself 600 woods, which just doesn't feel that it has a great synergy here, where Knuschelbär sends in crates of 800 resources, which gives him mixed crates as well. I feel that would have been a better card for Mitoe to send in that place instead of 600 wood. It's not like Mitoe's going to go for the TP line at this point as well. He's just really investing this into resources. Oh no, investing into units, one Canyon and Q. And he's just basically going Tomahawk Canyon, so a Musk Huss style versus Knuschelbär. But Knuschelbär, double war hut. He's built that second war hut by himself. Wall out the front. Now sends in the coin to age up with this, but yeah, town centre, double war huts, and a sizable military force which could run through a gated wall. I think Knuschelbär is slightly ahead here. I don't think Mitoe's push to be as scary as it is, but it will cause significant damage. But Knuschelbär, well, he's not even close to agent actually. Scrap that. He's probably had to invest some sort of resources. May had to just go for the Tomahawk scouting party. That comes in just now, so extra Tomahawks from Knuschelbär. Cannon's coming in, but paraffin issues around the Longhouse Warhut Town Centre. ANMAS still alive. They're focusing down Mitoe's War Chief with the Town Centre and Warhut Fire. Knuschelbär's Explorer still on high HP. Tomahawk's moving to the right side, scaring off Canyons from coming in, and Ayan is just taking apart his Tomahawks. This has been a good engagement so far from Knuschelbär, and I think he's slightly edging it.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Really, really good fights from Knuschelbär. He does have 2 warrior huts on base and the TC fire. That allows for him to do a whole lot, and it looks like he's going to clean this up. Mitoe perhaps shouldn't have invested quite as heavily into the market ups and pushed a little bit harder. It's rough to see, but if you're doing a hard push and your opponent and you need to get some damage done quickly, market ups are not, especially the really expensive native wood ups, are not super effective at helping your timing push there. But Knuschelbär cleans it up. He's in a pretty good position. Mitoe having 5 more recalculated economic unit population, probably mostly due to the market ups. we'll take a look at the economic units, and he has 6 more villagers. So we see in units lost, Knuschelbär has lost 3, and Idle TC some, it looks like, for sure. So both of them aging. I think I like Mito's position here more.
Yeah, that eco discrepancy is something to note, especially the extra wood upgrades that Mitoe has. But I feel that you want to be going mainly food and coin in the third age and just continue that Forest Prowler Musket Rider composition. But Knuschelbär, 2 shipments in the bank ready to go. Mitoe will soon have 1, but this earlier age up will provide him some sort of tempo advantage. The fact that he has an Explorer at full HP providing advantage. Mitoe is dancing his Explorer or hero back to the town centre, which I do appreciate that play. Very important to have him alive in age 3. Knuschelbär slightly behind on the eco, but I think he needs to push out to recover his position. The scores does suggest that Mitoe is slightly in the lead at this point.
Yeah, for sure. The scores suggest that, and I think the players perhaps are looking at that and noticing it. But also, if you're just focusing on the gameplay, Mitoe kind of invested a lot into the hard push, and it died out pretty quickly. So he doesn't know exactly that his opponent idle TC some. He doesn't know exactly what's up with that. So perhaps he is. If I was in his position, I would be feeling like the pressure's on for sure, because you tried to do a hard push, it didn't work very well. But in reality, Mito's looking really, really good here. He is coming over with the Kanyas, and they get some of them get picked off. Doesn't get a whole lot done there. He didn't get any village or anything like that.
But what's been really nice for Knuschelbär in the third age already, picking up 2 Kanyas. The Kanyas went for raid, nothing happened. Traded the 3 Aenas for 1 villager and pulling these Forest Prowlers back. Nearly taking out one of those units as well, but if Mitoe wanted to push out in the third age, he's been delayed. And so far, Knuschelbär is able to get the 5 Musket Riders and then the All Resources behind this. Mitoe going straight for the All Resources cards, and if Knuschel went 5 Muskets, 8 Forest Prowlers, or 9 Tomahawks back to back, he could have had a real strong push. Mitoe may have not been able to hold that, but I think at this position, it's balanced. Knuschel slightly ahead on the military population, and eventually those two will close out, but it's a bit close. It's really close to pick out a clear leader at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. It's very close. I would say Mito's slightly in the lead just due to that economic advantage, and in an Iroquois mirror, it's gonna, I would guess, come largely down to your Forest Prowler size. You're gonna need enough Musket Riders, make sure enough Kanya aren't invested in, but Kanya are not ideal cav. Musket Riders even aren't ideal themselves. But if you have the largest Forest Prowler mass, the army composition could likely be centered around that. And if your opponent is forced to go build a whole lot more Kanyas, that could be pretty detrimental. That is where the Mito's wood ups could actually come into play, though, being able to build the Kanya Horsemen more efficiently, if you will.
Yeah, I think after this game we'll hop into your Discord server. For some reason, Discord's having a bit of trouble, but I don't think it's either our ends. It's just Discord being Discord. Tomahawk raid to the southern side will pick off 1 villager. Wow, he's got the 3rd tier wood upgrade, Forest Spirit Ceremony. You'd never see that ever being researched by native civs, to be honest. But Mitoe really prioritizing this 3rd tier wood upgrade, and is chopping wood with 6 vills currently, but that's a lot of resources to spend into eco at the moment. That military population really in favour for Knuschel, and this fight actually might happen right now, but Knuschel's going to lose the Explorer, which is a bit sad to see. Or is he?
Yeah, he doesn't lose it.
That's sloppy, that is. I have to say that is sloppy there. That is such a big pickup. I'm surprised Mitoe didn't go for that one.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. You never know what's happening. One thing that is important to note is the Forest Prowlers can stealth. And watching some of the games from Mitoe yesterday, he was. They're saying it's really laggy. Okay. I mean, I can out if needed.
I think
Whatever.
I think it's fine for this game. We could switch streamer afterwards if you like, or just at least go onto a different Discord server. But it feels absolutely fine for me. I mean, again, I can't really say that because I'm not actually playing, but upload still at between 4K and 5K.
Yeah, maybe there's a delay. It doesn't look like there's lag. Perhaps it's just a delay. Perhaps that's why the Knuschelbär Explorer was able to get away scot-free. What I was saying, though, is in some of the games yesterday, Forest Prowlers were used extremely well with their stealth, and they provided an advantage to the opponents, or to the person doing that. And we see the engagement coming in. The Explorer from Knuschelbär goes down first, and that's pretty nice. You need enough anti-cap here, though, for Mitoe, and he may not have enough. There's some tomahawks coming in, but that's not very many, and they're pretty much all going down. Only a couple left. Those Kanyas on those Forest Prowlers are going to do a whole lot. The Musket Riders coming from behind. Lots of Forest Prowlers. This is looking really, really good for Knuschelbär. I don't know that Mitoe is able to to hold off. Looking at units in queue, he does not have any Tomahawks in queue. He does not have any Musket Riders in queue. Looking pretty rough, but all the Kanya Horsemen do go down. And Mitoe is able to push this back with perhaps inferior numbers. Definitely inferior numbers there. Yeah, that's a little. I think Knuschelbär was expecting units to pop out, and they weren't at the moment. So Mitoe does hold. I expected that to go a little bit more in Knuschelbär's favor. Anything really interesting about that fight for you?
Is your side okay in terms of the connection? Because I'm confused why this Discord server is struggling so much. But the biggest factor, look at Mitoe's fire pit. I believe Mitoe did have a fire pit here, moved it with his eco, and managed to get a 25 vil ward dance off. Those Forest Prowlers stats went up to 26 ranged attack, and that's before the infantry combat came in. And just so strong, but they're just easily able to cut down those Kanya horsemen, and you're thinking, wow, there's like 7-hand cavalry on top of those skirmishers. This is looking pretty dire for Mitoe, but you just need super buff skirmishers and you'll be absolutely fine. Here come the cuirassiers, the 5 renegades from the French colony helping out Knuschelbär here. They're charging in, and there's still 6 elite Kanya horsemen here. And it's only elite tomahawks. They do have infantry combat, but with good micro picking off these tomahawks, this could be another good engagement here for Knuschelbär. Let us find out. Tomahawks hand combat versus the cuirassiers. I think they just want to hold these in place, allow the musket riders, Forest Prowlers to take these down, and there's still enough cavalry behind just to snare the skirmisher mass. The Aero War Chief has been revived at full HP, snaring the Wakinas, keeping them in place. Not Wakinas, Forest Prowlers. But the Forest Prowlers from Knuschelbär severely outclassed here. 22 attack versus 27 due to not having infantry combat and a weaker war dance. Musket Riders, nice to keep his army safe, but with no cavalry from Mitoe, they haven't really been adding too much value, and Knuschelbär having to pull back at this point.
Yeah, you see the importance of the War Chief there. Also, infantry and combat being very effective. You're not lagging in Discord at all to me, so I'm not sure what's going on.
It's fine now, but a few times it just kind of breaks for some reason breaks down. But like, we're absolutely fine at the moment. It's been a bit unfortunate this game. We'll have to look into it before next game.
Yeah, maybe we could try a couple things. Take a look at it. If I have to out at it, that's fine. Whatever is needed. I'm happy to do whatever for the viewers. We do see Musket Riders and Kanya getting onto a bunch of villagers over here. That is, if he sees it, he sees it. Perhaps that's the delay, or he didn't see it right away. But he's getting onto it now. Could have been a lot more villagers going down. It is 3 so far, I think, 2 or 3. And another one goes down, and one final one. And so a few villagers go down there, and it's really close, honestly. Taking down those villagers, another one going down on the hunts. It's looking really, really good for Knuschelbär here. Yeah, I like this. It's really close from both players. I do like Mitoe's use of the
fire pit though a lot more, and more villagers going down. This is huge.
Wow,
This
yeah,
is
that's
insane.
big. And no spirit medicine from Mitoe. He does have the 3rd tier wood upgrade, but no HP upgrade here. That is really unfortunate. Mitoe's saying unplayable, so let's quickly pause. I think you're going to have to drop out of this one.
All right,
that's the only thing we can do for this.
Yeah.
I was about to say that raid on the fire pit though got rid of the wall dance, so that made it so much better for Knuschelbär to defend.
Yeah, I'm telling them I'm out. All right, and I'll jump out of Discord too, just because I'm not able to watch the screen or anything.
Mitoe with the C here as well. For the record, I don't think it was the main reason was either me or jailed, but we can address that at a later point. Right, we do have Knuschelbär moving forward with his Elite Forest Prowler mass. No infantry combat just yet. Did send 8 Forest Prowlers as well, but this cav raid going through Mitoe's base is currently unchallenged. Finally, a cavalry contingency has been thrown up by Mitoe, Elite Canyons, and a few Elite Musket Riders as well. And they are going to catch these actually Forest Prowlers. Where is the anti-cavalry? They're raiding. Don't really need to raid with Musket Riders. These Canyon Horsemen are going to come in for a massive flank at this point. He's just stealthed them! He's just saved his bacon by stealthing the Elite Forest Prowlers. Who needs Dragoons when you have a stealth option? And Mitoe's Explorer is up here. He's currently down and he needs to have the fire pit up and the war dance coming in. That is top level play. With 2 villagers on the fire pit, will take some time for that to come back in, but Knuschelbär making, and that's the best use of Forest Prowlers I've ever seen actually. I've seen some players stealth Forest Prowlers to try and go for some sort of artillery snipe. However, in this game, saving those Forest Prowlers from the impending doom of that cavalry mass was a very smart play. Mitoe currently chasing Knuschel's Canyon away at the moment, and it seems to have steadied out after that engagement. Warhut thrown down forward, protecting the silver mine. Wakinas are moving forward. They are able to kite though. A good engagement here from Mitoe's Forest Prowlers. Knuschelbär not yet having infantry combat. I want to say that is going to be the next card coming in behind this. He does have a card just being sent at this point. Mitoe with the triple Z's at the moment, but I don't think that is anything else. You can really blame it on other outside factors. Knuschelbär having the war dance on his Forest Prowlers and having much more mass at this point will retreat back to his war hut. But a nice mass of Musket Riders here. There's a Canyon push coming in from Mitoe, but Musket Riders should be enough to deal with this. Era Explorer out front, tanking damage as well. You can see he's absorbing some fire from the Musket Riders as well. But Musket Riders fighting in the back line, getting some good volleys. Infantry combat's finally coming for Knuschelbär, but is the war dance coming down from the fire pit? It is. Only 7 vills dancing though, could have a few more. Knuschelbär's Explorer does go down. They can retreat behind the wall if needs be. Tomahawks forming that front line, but will fall down quickly to the Forest Prowlers. And these Musket Riders just kept being safe. There's no need to engage them just yet. Military population considerably in Knuschelbär's favour, and a Canyon raid on the fire pit as well. And that's the risks of having a fire pit far from your town centre. It's easier to raid, and it's just such a crucial part of native gameplay. Looks like Mitoe trying to siege the war hut at this point, but Knuschel with his Forest Prowlers behind, trying his best to poke away from the safety of his gates. It's not Yumi wall, it's now Forest Prowler wall, which Knuschelbär is playing with. Now reviving his native explorer once again. Big raid though, Canyon Horsemen on villagers left hand side. Forest Prowlers moving over to the left hand flank to cover. Musket Riders leading the charge, scaring these Canyons back at this point. What was that? Was that a warrior from a fire pit? That seemed like a very interesting unit to see at that point. 4 Canyons right side from Knuschelbär along the beach, possibly ready to push in and go for a raid on their own size. Knuschelbär though mid-map, just controlling with his musket riders and forest prowlers. Now train off with Mitoe's army, but more forest prowlers in Knuschelbär's army than Mitoe's, doubling the count, 28 to 14, but 8 more just trained from Mitoe from his double forward war hut position. Kanya flank right side. Looks like Kanya's going to come into the villagers. No Spirit Medicine just yet. Wakina's move. I keep saying Wakina's guy play a lot of suit. Forest Prowler's moving in and we'll get some great volleys here. Villagers not pulling back. Counter raid from Mitoe. This is going to be a raid off, but Musket Riders are here to defend from the Kanya Horsemen, and the villagers are hightailing out there before the Forest Prowlers can actually get in. All the villagers from Mitoe have gone down, and Mitoe has resigned after losing most of his villagers. And an interesting game to say the least, and certainly non-standard. And yeah, I will swap with Geld then. Otherwise, it's going to be playing from recorded games. But I'm still with you guys here. Stream is still looking fine for me. We have a player. We have myself from the UK, Knuschelbär from Germany, Mitoe from Northwest Canada. The thing is, when players go about this, I understand it, but I just don't think it's the reason one way or the other where games are decided or not. There was a great fight Mitoe had with his Forest Prowler's 26 range attack, full war dance behind this, picking off Knuschelbär's Colonial Canyons as if they were heavy infantry. They just fell over very quickly, and Mitoe looked in a strong position at that point. But then Mitoe pushed in afterwards into triple war hut town centre, war dance, and while being raided at the same time, trying to catch then the Forest Prowler mass while the raid was happening at the back, mainly musket riders, but the Forest Prowlers went into stealth mode to get out of the way, saving, preserving his Forest Prowler mass at this point, and this raid here was a GG raid. No coming back from that. Let's have a look at the villager counts. Noosh did lose 3 villagers to that early colonial push that Mitoe had in. That was a really interesting playstyle from Mitoe, but also caused a bit of idle time as well, and that is where that 5-vil discrepancy opened up between the two players as they went into the Fortress Age. Once we got to the Fortress Age though, the villager production for Knuschelbär was slightly crisper than Mitoe's. Mitoe holding that economic lead throughout the majority of the game, but as the game went on and action started to spread out across the entire map, raids were happening left and right. Mitoe was losing vils, and a lot of vils were going down on Mitoe's fire pit. The fire pit was on the far left of the map, exposed to a cav raid, and then losing more as well, but crucially losing villagers while Mitoe himself was trying to raid Noosh, but Noosh was able to pull his vils back. Noosh got a great raid onto Mitoe, and there was a point where all the Forest Prowlers could have gone down, the stealth mode saving Knuschelbär, and a really closely fought out game back and forth throughout. At one point I thought Noosh had it, then Mitoe had it with his eco, and then Noosh with his tempo in Age 3, then Mitoe with his Forest Prowler defense, war dance, then back to Noosh. It was all hectic as we went through. Right, GG, let's hop into the next game. Just have a chat with Joe to see if he wants to take it to take over the stream. I can carry on myself. I don't think it is unplayable, but obviously these players are playing at the highest level of the game, and unfortunately we're not at the LAN. Doesn't That's okay. Looks like Gerald is unavailable to carry on, unfortunately. Bit of a shame, but if that's the case, I will push on myself. But earlier on, I was streaming as well as having Scroogy on screen share as well, so double video connection, which is was doable for my side. And Knuschelbär saying, "Let me check." Possibly could be a little bit from all of us, but we'll have to find out. Right, we'll be casting the finals later on with iNcog. iNcog can't stream. Right's probably no better than me in terms of internet connection, and we'll have to see what we're going on. For the time being, it seems like I will be continuing on. I've just had a quick chat to iNcog. Winner picks. It's definite winner picks. Mitoe with the joke there, copying after that, saying it's an alternative pick, but saying copying after that. The winner of the previous games will select their civ first. I mean, in the lobby at the moment, I have not dropped a single frame, so I think it's a little bit from all three of us. But what you may see as lag is whether it's me lagging or whether the game is lagging due to a player in the game, and that could be Mitoe or Nushu at the same time. So it's hard to say clearly who is who, especially when we all three are from different parts of the world. Well, me, Nushu in Europe, and Mitoe in Canada. Is Mitoe actually joking, or is he cannot read? After that, the winner of the previous game will select their civilization first. This pick is final, and their opponent will then pick their civilization afterwards. No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. That's what it says. After that, the winner of the previous game will select their civilization first. This pick is final and will be locked in. Their opponents will then pick their civilization afterwards as a counter pick. the problem is we've been doing alternate picks for so many recent tournament series. It's maybe been drilled in. What? How can you not understand the rules? I'm confused by this. No, it doesn't alternate afterwards. It's the after that, the winner of the previous game will select their civilization first. They will select that game first. This pick is final will be locked in. Their opponent will then pick their civilization to counterpick afterwards, but then move along another game. Let's say now we're looking at game 3. The winner of the previous game, game 2, will pick their civilization first, so it's winner picks. But it's not though. Am I missing something? Yeah, I'm. It's. Oh my god, these guys. Right, it's Knuschelbär to pick. Knuschelbär to still pick anyway. Knuschelbär picking the Germans, and Mitoe has indicated he's going to play an Eero regardless, but now Mitoe can play Eero, and because he hasn't won with Eero as yet. And this matchup, if Mitoe takes this matchup, I feel it's a matchup favouring German, but on a map with a horizontal TP line, I think Eero could get the map control in the middle, so that still could be quite good. And we'll have to see what Mitoe's plan is. German mirror. So here we go, German mirror on Fraser River, and let us go into game number 3 between Mitoe and Knuschelbär. Right, we are spawning in Fraser River, both players having double hunt, coin mine, coin mines forward for Noosh. Mitoe has a safe secondary coin mine. Wood starts. I think both players will be very happy to see wood and food. Great start for both players here. Out on the map though, looks like 5 coin mines each side. Coin is the most important resource on the German mirror, and so we are happy to play. Score currently 2-0 to Knuschelbär. Match point for him, and he's chosen to pick German on Fraser River. Mitoe going for the counter pick of German. So Iro mirror for game 2, German mirror for game 3. However, German mirror is what Mitoe's could be Mitoe's #1 Civ matchup. He's played countless German mirrors, even defeating Kaiser Klein's Germany at the New World Championship LAN last year, and Mitoe is very experienced with German. Possibly his best Civ. Maybe he used French as his premier Civ, just it's a bit more versatile than German is on most maps, and versus most other players' civilizations, shall I say. And he had a better matchup, France versus Japan, than Germany versus Japan. But Mitoe now bringing out his strongest civilization to keep him in this tournament versus Knuschelbär, currently 2-0 up. Right, Mitoe is taking on 90 food down to the southern side. He crackshotted one of the wolves and has now been kiting his way onto the second and third wolf. Could actually pick this treasure up with not losing much HP at all. One more shot, the wolf goes down. That's a really nice pickup from Mitoe. What is Knuschelbär working on? Well, Knuschelbär's got himself 95 wood. That is an OP treasure to have, if I might say so. And Knusch will be very happy to have that. Will help his transition that little bit more. Knuschelbär working on a couple of cougars. Takes down one cougar. Does have the crack shot available. There's only 2 cougars for this treasure, but cougars aren't actually that strong. They're like a jaguar but less HP, only 110, and it's just going to be a couple of melee swings, 3 melee swings, and he'll pick himself up a second scout, which is very important when you're playing as a Civ with only 1 scouting unit. Neutral's second hunt has walked off a little bit far from the town centre. Same can be said for Mitoe's second hunt, but both players really focusing on their early game eco. And look at this great positioning from Knuschelbär. Villagers split nicely across the deers. Elks, about 100 food on each of them roughly, and has enough resources to age up with this. Mitoe going for a 16 vil age up with the help of that 90 food treasure, and he also got 50 food as well, so that's why Mitoe is aging up 1 villager before the standard time / Knuschelbär. So Mitoe going to age up with 16 vil population. Noosh aging up with the 17 vil population. Does pick up 120 XP, and ZD Flower has entered the chat again, donating the sub. I missed the first sub there, but donating the second one to Greater Gators. So good evening to you, ZD Flower. Thank you for joining us. Hope you've been enjoying these 2 days of Age of Empires gameplay, or maybe any more to come in the near future. Even going one for the name Daniel as well, and I'm hoping he's not cycling through one by one. I don't actually know what it is. It's how many? That's more than one. More than one, around about 8, 10. I don't know. But it's very, very appreciative, those E-Flowers, so thank you for your generosity. Right, back to the game. 2 set of wagons for both players. Shipment in roughly the same time, 2 minutes 10 seconds. Both players going for their defensive training post in the corner of the map. And Mitoe will be reaching that age at 14 minutes 20 seconds. Second TP as well. I like this playstyle from Mitoe. Mark it down later on, and only now getting hunting dogs off of the 400 wood. So prioritising the extra XP and second training post. It's very, very nice to see. Knuschelbär mark it down defensively, going hunting dogs, place some mines during transition. Now it's that next age, and will soon have enough resources for steel traps as well if he's going to go for steel traps. Defensive barracks though will need to go for a house as well. This could be pikemen opening up for And Knuschelbär, a couple of pikes just to defend from cav raids and play on from there. A house being dropped on the coin mine to protect himself. But this other coin mine is super exposed. So that's really tough for Knuschel to deal with. Mitoe herding in his third hunt. That's a really nice play already. ZD Flowers, gifted subs are rolling through. Jurassic getting one, and Jurassic is one of those players who's playing around, I want to say 2014, 15, 16. I haven't seen his face online recently. It'd be nice if he was to pick up Age of Empires 3 again, but at least he's tuning into the stream, so it's always good to see old players showing up still. 700 wood first for Mitoe. Knuschel going for 3 settler wagons, but the Age 2 kind of cav micro has been disrupted due to the presence of Mitoe's Explorer at higher HP, and that itself was just enough to scare these Uhlans back towards the town centre for Knuschel. 5 pikemen charging their way down to the southern side, going to put pressure on Mitoe's first train post. I don't think he'll mind too much though. He does have a second TP up on the map, providing him income. Doppelsonders were trained from the barracks, so 4 dops from Mitoe will absolutely crush pikemen or Uhlans in combat, but the pikemen can just run away and run around from the Doppelsonders. We'll get scouted out now by the Uhlans. Uhlans do see Doppelsonders making their way. Doppels are actually kind of covering off the pikemen's retreat. Pikemen have to run around to this native TP, but there's only one way out, and the Doppels are heading that way. These pikemen may have to actually turn back if they really wanted to, and he's doing that. Knuschelbär's playing mind games with his opponents. He will go back into the train post line of sight, but Mitoe's thinking, come here, pikemen, where have you gone? And the pikemen are going back to the train post. He will see these Uhlans coming in. He might turn and he's going to sacrifice 1 or 2, but he does get 2 snared. He's not fighting, turning another 2 away, so 3 down without loss. But these other pikemen still quite slow. He needs to keep moving though, keep moving. But he's just going to trade his off, I think. But the thing with this is he really should have just committed. Okay, raiding. Settler wagon going down. Settler wagon going down from Knuschel's cav raid. Doppel's chasing 1 Uhlan, but even these Uhlans getting a decent trade in its own right. So after all said and done, 1 settler wagon going down for Mitoe at the expense of losing 5 pikes without sieging down the train post. Have to say, that was an even trade, I'd say. I wouldn't say anybody's the biggest victor. If anything, Mitoe would be very happy that he managed to protect his trading post and is actually getting the repair on it right now. Mitoe chasing Knuschelbär. Knuschelbär aging up with the 3 settler wagon 700 coin. Unfortunately, that Uhlan did stop, wasn't right home, and was basically carried out his orders to stand still after reaching his destination. But the Uhlans from Mitoe were hot on its tail, cutting down it and leaving Knuschelbär with 0 military population. Let's look at units in queue. Do we see any dops being trained from Knuschelbär? 5 dops in queue, and these Doppelsonders will be enough to protect Knuschelbär. But remember, Knuschel has a second coin mine he needs to control, and it's not under control just yet. 700 coin remaining. 2 shipments though still to send. Dops going down to the southern TP. You see Knuschelbär is desperately trying to tear down one of these train posts. He knows that he can't really afford to have a 2-0 train post advantage. Uhlans wanting to take down Explorer. Doesn't know where these dops are. Could actually, unfortunately, run onto the Doppelsonders, but he does path away, sees the Doppelsonders, and leaves it. But that means Doppel's in Mitoe's base, but that is a 1, 2, 6. That is a skirmisher agent politician, if I'm not mistaken, and that's coming pretty handy for Knuschelbär, the marksman, picking up about 2 Doppelsonders worth of HP there. Picking up 1. Well, 2 have gone down in the game, but I think only 1 went down there with extra 1 losing lots of HP. But 5 Doppels versus 4 Doppels, 3 Uhlans, and the Explorer here for Knuschelbär quite helpful. I don't know how you micro Doppel Uhlan fight, just right click and pray, but the addition of skirmishes from Mitoe on the age up here is going to prove absolutely crucial for Mitoe, and so should get a good trade here. But he's actually engaging with his Ulans and Doppels at the same time, just hoping to overwhelm instead of kiting away from his Doppels. And the fact that Mitoe, he has one train post up still, military population even. Mitoe went 1,000 wood first. That is very greedy from Mitoe here. War wagons though, very nice. Going to push out with these and try and put some pressure on Mitoe's next coin mine. He's currently working on a coin mine outside his base, where he does have a coin mine at home still to gather. But I guess he just wants to split up his coin income, which is not a bad decision if you're German. 1,000 wood from Knuschel. He's gathering it with 3 settler wagons though, so he wants to gather this wood with some sense of urgency behind this. His Explorer's still down though, so I don't think it's a trading post he wants to throw up. He definitely needs housing, needs a stable. Vet Ulans as well would be quite nice. And here is a big Ulan mass from Mitoe without even sending a 9 Ulan card. It's just training Ulans at this point, and that is a really nice amount of units he has. Preferring to not go for the war wagons in this case, but go for Skirm, Ulan, and a few Dops if they're still left over. Right, one Ulan going to try and trade off with the Settler. Settler survives with 2 HP. Very lucky for himself. But Knuschelbär knows about this cav mass from Mitoe, and I think Knuschel's going to pull back and go into... Well, he's just sent 9 Ulans. I feel that he could actually just continue training war wagons at this point. If you know your opponent has the cav mass advantage, trying to catch up in it is a little bit difficult. Mitoe sent 8 skirmishers as card number 2. I feel that he has another shipment on the way. He does have 2 training posts up for quite a while, so it has the XP to send another shipment. And the way that Mitoe is pushing out, it feels that he's expecting to have reinforcements very soon, and could be fast moving reinforcements like war wagons or Ulans to catch up with this massive unit. So Mitoe is going to push his advantage and be reinforced by the time the actual fight kicks off. These 3 veteran war wagons though could actually prove to be amazing in this fight, but they're on the front line at the risk of Mitoe's skirmishers. But the Ulan's gone straight onto the skirmisher line on Knuschelbär. War wagons are out in the distance firing on these war wagons, but actually this flank of Ulans is coming at a great time. But here come the 9 Ulan reinforcements from Mitoe. Just reinforcing coming at a different time. I think Knuschel is actually having this. These 2 war wagons will be very useful in taking and helping to deal with the remaining Ulans, and a lot of skirmishers have already gone down. Quite a lot of Knuschelbär's skirmishers still alive. Here comes another batch of 5 Ulans. I think Mitoe is slightly better in the long term, but this fight went really well for Knuschel, it has to be said. Even having 4 Ulans on the remaining skirmisher mass and still having 2 war wagons standing up afterwards is certainly a very good control there from Knuschel, keeping those alive. God, I do love a good old German mirror. One of my favourite matchups. Action throughout, and we're seeing that right now. War wagons again trying to pick off these Ulans as a high priority. Skirmishers now finally taking down the war wagons, long overdue. Decent skirm mass from Knuschel behind this. He's currently up in score, and another shipment should be on the field very soon for Knuschel. It has been a while. Just sent another one now, so it's either on the way or just been sent. Mitoe sending himself 8 Ulans at this point. 5 Ulans from the stable. Has Knuschel overcommitted? 8 Ulans have just come in himself, so both players sent an 8 Ulan card, but these Ulans are trained off with the ones just been trained, and 8 Ulans are about to come onto these skirmishers. The Ulans are meeting in the middle. I'm expecting some sort of supernova black hole at this clash. It's just continuous trading at the highest level here. Skirm's path in top side, that's just a small path now, but that could actually prove costly. Local military advantage going in favour of Knuschelbär once again. Knuschel winning this cav fight, and we need to remember Knuschel is 2-0 up. Mitoe needs to win this. This is match point for Knuschelbär. Remember, he's slightly up in score, he's slightly up in military population, but it's still relatively close. But a couple of these villagers, skirmishers still exposed. 5 Ulans about to pop from the stable. I can sense it. They're being trained right now, and I think is Knuschel going to pull back? Is he going to pick off his vills? He's pulling back. He does not want to overcommit. And there's the 5 Ulans, but the local force here should be able to overcome these 5 Urlans. Urlans need to fight, skirmishers need to fight, Minutemen have been called. Where are these reinforcements? 5 Urlans coming down across the map on the right hand side. Explorer harassing these villagers, but actually might need the Explorer in the fight just to tank that little bit. This is breathtaking stuff. Okay, skirmishers were fending off that single veteran Urlan. Minutemen losing their HP now, could get picked off by the skirmishers. Urlans moving to the right side, want to put pressure on the silver mine. Coin is always a very vulnerable point for German eco. A second stable has been thrown up, more Urlans being trained, but that's going to go straight into the batch of Urlans that Knuschel has, and more Urlans are covering and chasing across the map. Hardly any war wagons in this matchup. Minutemen being focused down by Knuschel. Great control here by Knuschelbär. I think the reinforcements from Mitoe helping really well. A settler wagon goes down, but that settler wagon does tank from these veteran Urlans, and again it's just one Urlan from Knuschelbär still standing, and 5 Urlans coming in behind. Mitoe saying just so bad, and it feels like he's in a dire situation. Really close game though throughout. It's just that small edges just come up. But here's the reinforcements. 3 war wagons and 3 Urlans. This is maybe he's just psyching out Knuschelbär. The 3 war wagons can deal with the Urlans. Once those Urlans go down, the cavalry can deal with the Urlans. And there's 1 Urlan in queue from the stable. That could pop out soon. 2 only get popped out there. Mitoe desperately needing more coin resources after being raided off his silver mine. But another patch of Urlans, EP Urlans, who says they're not fit for purpose? And Knuschel takes the German mirror victory. What a great game that was to end off with. And Knuschelbär defeating Mitoe 3-0. So our final, ladies and gentlemen, will be between Migo/IndiaBot 1999 and Knuschelbär. That was some impressive gameplay from Knuschel in game number 3 in particular. I appreciate Knuschel's defense in game number 1 versus the all-in from Mitoe's France. That seemed to be very, very scary, and yeah, really well played from Knuschel just to keep those Yumi archers alive, kiting back with them. Ashes nearby, timing the 7 Yumi age up with the Minutemen, Town Centre 5, and even 2 Nagis helped out in the transition, but the 5 Nagi shipment won that game. Game number 2 was back and forth, action all over the place. The play of that game was the skirmishers going to stealth when it matters the most, actually, keeping his skirmisher mass alive, which then he used later on to win another skirmisher fight and then raid Mitoe's vills. And that's ended game 2. The pressure is on for game number 3, and I thought Mitoe's build of early 2 training posts was very strong. Took down Knuschelbär's training post as well, and for a long time Knuschelbär just did not have a training post, but tempo advantages are always important, and he always felt that once Knuschelbär dealt with Mitoe sending 1k wood 8 skirmishers, it then felt like Knuschelbär was slightly in the lead of the cavalry shipments as it came through. 9 Urlan, 8 Urlan. The 3 war wagons at the end weren't enough to save himself. Cav combat from Knuschelbär, and just Urlan's being trained continuously from both players. What a fun game that was, and brings this series to a close. Let's have a look at some of the post-game graphs in that game. We did see Mitoe did lose a settler wagon early in Age 2. Losing a villager before reaching the Fortress Age isn't that common at the highest level, but you have to say Mitoe did do very well picking off the pikemen from Knuschelbär, defending his 2 TPs, and at that point I'd say advantage over to Mitoe. The marksman age up from Knuschelbär was an interesting decision, and it really paid off quite well. It paid off really well in this case, that those skirmishers popped out, but the Doppels are just walking by. They're just strolling past Knuschel's town centre, and I want to see how many of those went down. I think we should be able to see 10 down to 8. So 2 2 doppels were picked off, and another doppel was on very low HP, so nearly 3 doppel summoners picked up by the marksman age up. Very good choice there by Knuschelbär, and I certainly click the Exile Prince every single game as Germany, but Knuschelbär showing that other options are available and can be highly effective. Military population. Knuschel had a great fight in that middle of the map. We see that Mitoe had the military population, and the fight we're speaking of was right about here. And Mitoe went in with the Uhlans straight in onto Knuschelbär's skirmisher line, which you'd think is a great play, but the war wagons were pulled back, was able to fire on those Uhlans, but the side flank from the Uhlans from Knuschelbär coming this way got a good angle on some of the Uhlans distracted by Mitoe. A couple of skirms did go down, but once the Uhlans, the damage dealers, went down, and then just Knuschelbär had the local cavalry supremacy and was just able to trade off his Uhlans versus Mitoe's, and then once they were all gone, the soft underbelly of the skirmishers was exposed. Knuschelbär's 9 Uhlan shipment came in before Mitoe's. The 8 Uhlans came in at the same time, and that looked like Knuschelbär might have overcommitted and would lose his entire army, but continuous reinforcements of Uhlans from Knuschelbär was able to survive, and the forward coin mine didn't prove too pivotal this game. Knuschelbär gathering on the top side and the east side throughout, and yeah, both his coin mines nearly out of coin, and I think Knuschelbär made the most out of this small power spike of a steady coin income before he had to move across. Really well played by Noosh, and just I think the emphasis there was the military fights and the military control, and just grouping your reinforcements together as well. And you always see that Knuschel's army was always going towards that where the fight actually happened. So Mitoe dropping out of the semi-finals. He will take himself home $50 as a 3rd/4th place paying position. Knuschelbär marching on to the finals and will be taking on Migo/IndiaBot. And that is